morning, everybody. How are we doing? 5 here today. Okay. Oh. I'll have to do. I can't get my hair right. Right, that'll have to be it. Good morning, WC. How you doing? How's it going? We'll kick into action in a minute. So there's a bit of noise in the background. I'm gonna have to take these headphones off again to switch the light on in the back. 2 seconds. I knew there was something not right. I'm cold. Are you cold? I've got the heating on now, which is why there's a bit of noise in the background, but I'm going to have to put it on. So, yeah. But in the morning, you know, it's hard work getting the house to heat up. Which is why I've got my coffee. Warm my hands up with that. So yeah, WC, so how's the music going? What are you working on at the minute? What's good? What are you playing on guitar? And also, anybody else here, do say hello in the chat. Let's get the chat busy, so I can have a bit of company whilst I drink this cup of coffee. So for me, I've been all about MIDI controllers the last few days. I've been messing about with Nunchuck, and I've been really enjoying the Explode pedal, which we're going to get out and have a bit of a blast on today, and we can have a look at Nunchuck. But the Alright, Tube Stormer. So I was having a bit of resistance towards doing all of my MIDI floor board, which isn't a board, it's just actually the floor. There is a slight board with 3 pedals on it. But I've got, like, at the minute, I've got a wah-wah pedal, 2 expression pedals, 6 other buttons on a Morningstar Pro, and I've got 2 other piano sustain pedals. They're like just the little plastic ones. They seem to be the best thing. Working the Explode. And then I've got my camera pedal. So there's like quite a bit going on the floor. And then the plan is, I've just got a MIDI lead. And then the final piece in the puzzle is I'm going to get this wired in as well. And I think what we're going to have on here is I'm going to put my reverb swell on a momentary button on 6 and a stutter on 5, and then these are all going to be different pitches for different stuff. So we'll have one on an octavator, yeah, something like that anyway. That's what I was thinking. That's the plan anyway. New subscriber, hello. Hold on, right, I'll just go down and do my hellos, right, and I'll just get my chat down here. Right. high peak audio visual, getting ready for bed in Colorado. And what an excellent way to go to bed than be drifting off to sleep listening to this channel. We've got Tube Stormer. How are you doing? Good evening to you. Good evening, good morning. New subscriber here. I've been really enjoying your content. Thank you, Texas Jackdaw. Great to have you on here. And anybody else who might be watching who hasn't subscribed, do subscribe. Give a thumbs up if you're satisfied. Okay. So I was just asking WC what he was working on. And I'm working on the blues minor scale and trying to be conscious of the distance between notes. Brilliant. Texas, using Ecamm Live. I love it. Yes, I am using Ecamm Live. It's brilliant and pretty easy to use to get going. So there's a couple of things. Yeah, it's really, really good. So I have all my cameras set onto 4K, so it's good quality on the zooms and stuff, and I can kind of get the shot that I want. But I also run my cameras in S-Log for those camera nerds out there. Not that it's that nerdy. So I have S-Log and then I have a LUT, which makes things, like myself, even more beautiful. I'm good, MB guitar. Thank you. It's very clean. I try to be clean. I use live on my channel too. Yeah, I'll have to check your channel out as well, Texas. That'd be amazing. So I have been using Explode, which I'll find. I mean, I haven't actually planned anything for this morning, so we're freewheeling. So if there's any guitar type related questions, because I've done a bit of technique and stuff like that, we can do that. I'll probably start jamming something on here, on live, using Push, which is there. In fact, that's the other thing. I'm thinking of getting another. I should get another camera, so you can just see a close up of this in my hands. Maybe thought that would be quite good because it wouldn't have to be like decent quality. And I have got a webcam somewhere. It's just getting a lead to then extend it and then having a spare port really. But I'll get onto it at some point. But that would be a good power up, wouldn't it? Right. Okay. So guitar questions in the chat, amazing. Otherwise, I'm gonna tune. You love the lighting? Yeah, I love this one. Like this was in fact, 2 seconds, I'll just get this one set up properly. Here we go, behind the scenes. There we go. See, I'm totally disorganized this morning. So yeah, this is the secret garden, believe it or not. So right, it was a bit of a hassle actually, really, when you're thinking about it, because to set up, when you think of the lighting, because what I've got is I've got two lights in the front. I've got a big parabolic light there, and then I've got a fill light here. Actually, now we can have a bit of shade like that. But then for this one, I need to have another front light. So what is the backlight here? Then comes the front light here. But I have to have this camera on ISO 640 to let light in, more light in. So I have that one there, and then these become the backlights. So just like setting it up and then getting it to look all right was a bit of a nightmare. But that green wall there, it's about $100 a meter. It's just like these plastic flowers. It's great. It's very zen to sit under. All right. Thank you, Texas. Question: how is your channel not huge? You are an amazing player. I don't know. Well, I do know. I think it's because the lack of content that I make is probably why. Because I don't really make any content, possibly as a theory, and I like doing lives all the time. That's what it is. I love the dynamic thing of coming on here and talking to people. And I also like just the nature of how, I can be talking about stuff. It can be any subject related, whatever kind of happens in the room. And sometimes it'd be really inspirational and have energy. The other thing about it is I use the channel for my own practice. So I've grown a lot actually by doing this as a person. I've grown a personality. I've a bit of one, There's still still a journey to go. In fact, it's mastery, isn't it? It's the journey that we're going on, not one of perfection. I do know that, and the other thing is it's helped my guitar playing. When I first started this channel, I wasn't really playing guitar. I was writing the McRocklin Hutch stuff, I was producing, I was making beats, I was building the tunes, and then Thomas was playing on that. So my channel was, the first initial idea was like, hey, I'll just open the door and let people sit and watch me make music, And it was Ecamm, and it was just Ableton Live, and then a little window of me in a red room. I think I unlisted everything so you can see the first video, and it was just that, and then so you had to be really, really interested in what I was doing. But there I was making electronic beats, and that was really interesting because when you're making beats and you're bearing all in front of people, your creative risk parameters reduce. And you're just doing what's safe, aren't you, at first? I've got to be honest about that, and then it was then the first stage of my learning was to then how do I just loosen up and bear all and just take the risks so people see, the wins and the falls. And that's how the channel's ever been, and that process has just moved to guitar as well as technology. And then, I've wanted more and more challenges. So the ultimate challenge for me now really is I'm chewing away at the live looping. It's sort of, I'm in between of writing a track and live looping, and the reason for that is I'm not practicing enough on the live looping, and I'm doing more practice on guitar really. But I can do a bit of it. It's all good, In fact, what are we doing? Right, I've got beat here. Is this going to trigger anything? Right, so get Exorb. One moment. I'll pick some drums in a minute. So yeah, so then it's all been about the live looping, which is great, and I can, just as we're on here, I can just start showing people about, and then we can chat about what's what. I'm doing my upgrade this week as well. So I upgraded to a new Mac Studio, and I'm looking forward to streaming in 4K. Yep. So I've got my M4. Well, I haven't got it yet. I haven't even ordered it. I have to go to the shop. Luckily, it's just down the road. Hit the button of thumbs up. It really helps. It does help. And I do like the likes. I like to see that number go up. So anybody on here, please give the thumbs up. Um, right, MB Guitar. What's your view on posting your most creative work and having having AI subpar musicians scrape your tunes? Seems unavoidable these days if you are creative. I'm not sure what you mean about scrape tunes. Is that what's been going on in terms of people claiming copyright strikes against artists? Because the interesting thing is, it's a. I think this isn't the right answer, right? But it is an answer. If that's what you're talking about, um, this is the take on it. Because we've got AI and because we've got people using AI and we can get like everybody's copyright for now gets till the system improves can get all messed up. Um, I mean, unless you're going to have a massive tune, right? A huge tune, okay, with hundreds of thousands on, you're not going to make much money, okay? Um, so music now in the digital age is for a while has been worthless, okay? So the music's been worthless. But what makes it worthwhile is it's a great and the best calling card for your credibility for people to attract. And I'm coming back to the coaching thing and, you know, the fact that I run a coaching business and what I specialize in is getting people to be super creative, super productive, and be able to write a huge amount of work, okay? Because that's how you're going to beat the system, isn't it? By having the superhuman ability, okay, to be prolific, to be able to just write tons of music that's good quality, that has your unique stamp on it. So that's the way I think. And one of the ways, me personally, that I can be unique, right, is playing guitar because I can do things fast and learning to improvise and using music as a language in addition to all the other music production skills that came with me when I was producing dance music. Remember, you know, I produced a lot of dance music. I charted 7 times. I was managed by 2 Dutch. I work with people like Brooks, you know. So I have all of that, and I bring those two things together in the attempt to make something a little bit more different and a bit unique. And we've ended up with live looping because live looping is a stream of conscious. I can quickly put it here. If somebody puts a claim in it, I know it's wrong, right? But I still reap the benefits of people watching the channel, watching this, and subscribing. Okay, so I mean, I'm not okay about them doing that, and I don't think it's right. But I think that in the uncertain times that we're in, and as human beings, as we always want certainty, I talked about this, I think, yesterday. One of the ways that we can be certain is improving our own performance, and I think it's a very, very worthwhile thing. The industry has never ever been fair, okay? But what is good about the industry is we can all set up a channel like this. We can all perform and build our own artists, our own audience. We can all have a label and we can all release on Spotify. We don't need labels or big record company budgets to actually make and finish music and release music. And we can build a fan base and we can monetize our careers from that through different money streams, can't we? So it's not all bad, but that bit is, you know, if you're an artist and you're making money out of your music like that, then it's not great. But also as artists, we do have to think about how we're going to be unique because AI is just going to you know, it's going to emulate whatever genre it is, and it's going to chuck out wallpaper music, right? What it can't emulate is human contact. You know, what happens in this room now, me picking the guitar up, what my emotional response will be to whatever I'm thinking about, whatever happened yesterday. It can't get in my head, and it can't read my mind, and it can't be dynamic to this situation. At least not for now. So we're okay there. But take heed. It's now time to start thinking about your own uniqueness. And what a wonderful problem to solve. Okay? It's just a nice gentle push over the cliff to start thinking about that. Shameless plug, anybody who is thinking about that and does want support and would like to join the coaching groups, there are 2 to join. And if you send an email to me, we can have a chat and see if you're a good fit for it. But basically, if you want to make lots of music, you can sit in a room with me on Zoom with 3 other people. There'll be 5 of us in total, and I'll take you through music making activities that will get you to be prolific and unique and give you a system where you can work on music under any circumstances. Remember, I haven't said this for a while, right? So there's the coaching manifesto, or the beliefs. I mean, I say the beliefs, but there must be a better word than beliefs because it's an actual fact, this, right? The fact of the matter is we can make music under any circumstances. We can make music, as good as anybody else. And we can actually make some sort of a living out of our music. So, there's all of these things to consider, and we need to be considering them, basically. Right, hold on. Let's go to the chart. I hope that answered that question. Love that. Just do it and work with the results. Yeah. And when we say results, there's a result of a result, isn't there? There's the result of you finishing a piece of music and reviewing that music and it going out to the world. But then there's also the second set of results is how that's received by the audience, isn't it? So there's actually 2 lots of results we get when we actually put music out. Yeah, I mean, people are sharing till we can work it out. But money, music's still a good calling card to bring opportunity. Hi, Abizo, how you doing? Great to see you on here again. Yeah, looping is entertaining. Please do more of that. If you ever had an auto string dampener, would you use it? The auto string dampening is a robotic device that allows you to dampen your strings when you want. It would have to be an AI one. No, I'm only joking. No, I would never use an automatic string dampening. String dampening is a important technique, which I'll now demonstrate in a bit, as any other technique to me. String dampening is, or string muting is super important, and there's, things we can do with that. So that's quite a good thing to talk about, actually, because I think it gets overlooked, because we don't want noisy playing, do we? And there's only so much a noise gate can do, especially if you play my style with legato. Yeah, stealing ideas, I was right. Yeah. I know there's been quite a bit on it, and the solicitors will be rubbing their hands together. Oh, great. Thank you, AI. Thank you, everybody using AI. We've got something to do now. Right, I'm going to be the legal expert on this. Excellent. I want to help build quality channels. Brilliant. The music biz is in trouble. The labels no longer control the consumption of music. Yes, but we can control it, can't we? And we can control our own sphere of influence, so to speak. That does excite me, and I do like that. And you can build a business around that, and you can build an income, which is something that was very difficult to do pre all of this. So there's good where there's bad, In fact, where there's chaos, there's opportunity. MB guitar and sound nice. The type of thing with other people using AI to copy other songs has me keeping my compositions off the internet and protecting my intellectual property right. Yeah, so I can see that as well, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, McRocklin and Hutch haven't had any AI problems, all right, yet, and haven't had anybody putting any copyright claims in me, which I'd probably file in the bin anyway, and so that nothing bad's happened. Everything my end is working fine. My other band Freakstar, we're releasing our old backlog of stuff. That's still gonna happen. There's been no, all of it went up on SoundCloud a while ago. There's never been any trouble with that. We released a song, never been any bother with that either. So Perplexity, I think, as an artist, to really kind of close the gap, because what's more important is how we're evolving, okay, and what's going on in our heads, and how we inspire other people, and then how they develop their music, because then you've been an influence, and not worrying about, because the thing is, you make so little money out of music, it's like ridiculous, and if you're self-releasing, you want to have your music out there, and when you get some fans, some loyal fans, they'll just love everything that you do anyway. And it's the Seth Godin thing, 1,000 fans, and you can make a living out of that. There'll be people there who want to buy everything, and it might be that, okay, the music doesn't make anything, but Perplexity may be a great at like art, and you make these really cool t-shirts as well that just works great with the music, and you've got great album art, and people want that, and that's how you kind of monetize it. These copyright claims things just really doesn't concern me. And I certainly wouldn't, if you've got music there, right, and you're wanting to release it, then you must release it. Okay? I won't spoil it for you, but there's a great book. Has anybody here read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield? It's like a real kick up the arse, you know? But he says, with your art, at the end of the book, he just says, if you were a doctor, right, and you had the cure for cancer, and you knew that, would you hold it back because you were frightened about what people would say? Well, you wouldn't, would you? And the same is for music, okay? There will be people out there, Perplexity, who will love and enjoy your music and be interested in you. And it's important to get that music out somehow. It's important for us creative people, everybody who comes on this channel, you've all got something to contribute that's interesting and enlightening that will help other people. And it's really important that we still release music and that we're not ground down by the machines, so to speak. It's important. I mean, there's Thomas, think of like his career, like he's ended up doing like a plugin business, but then a lot of what he's doing is based on people who are, fans of his music. They're into his plugins. So there's lots of ways we can use music as a calling card to get people interested in other things that we do. So it's something to be thinking about. So Perplexity, just to blast that up, it would be amazing if you could get your music up on the internet. And if you need any support with that, you know where to come. I'm happy to help or advise in any way that I can, because that's really important. Certainly worthwhile. Talent does not need labels. Of course it doesn't. We don't need the labels. TY. I believe we will see a shift where people will appreciate musicians and authentic performance more over the next couple of years. Absolutely. And that's really good. So the people who are, can perform, who can do things like this, their value will go up because it'll become a rarity. So there will be, I think, an industrial revolution. Should we call it that? And there will be a cull. Bit like, when COVID happened, like a lot of musicians struggled, and like a lot of them just like gave up on their careers, unfortunately. Like this, I think there'll be other musicians, who are, releasing music but are craftists that actually do music as a formula, and AI will just replace them. That'll be it. I wonder what the DJ producers will do, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of them worried about what happens. I write music for film, TV, and I still have to scrape. Right. Yeah, it's a hard game, isn't it? I hope that is true, WC. Well said, Hutch. Thank you. Well said. Thank you. I would love to interview you on my channel, Tim. So much to discuss, yes, and I'm right up for it. It's funny, I was talking about interviews today, but actually it was me interviewing other people. But I would love to be interviewed on your channel. So let's get that going. The email is in the description, and do get in contact, text us, because I think that would be absolutely amazing, and I would love to be on your channel and be interviewed. I think it would be amazing. Like one song I had 12,000 listens on, and BandLab, and I pulled it, would have probably been 100k, but I liked that process. I wonder why you pulled it. Interesting. Oh yeah, I'm interested in why you pulled that song. I think I can speculate on possible scenarios, but I'd be interested in what triggered that. The process and therapy of it is the best, and the rest of it for the birds, man. Yes, I mean the process that we go through as artists, as musicians, that is the most important thing, and the results are just the symptoms. But it's when you focus on the results that all the problems actually happen, because immediately you're not into the process and you're on a timeline, aren't you? And you're searching for certainty and you're wondering about whether what you'll do will achieve these results. And that's the thing that we need to avoid, because that's when you start making craftist, boring, crap music and doing the same things, because you're guaranteed there'll be certain things that you can do that will pretty much guarantee you the result. And we need to get out of that. We need to take the risks, really. Which is why, part of the process that I take people through is we have that thing called the splurge, which is just making absolutely tons of music with permission to make absolute crap. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make, music. We're not trying. We are making music without judgment. We're trying to go, hey, head, stop telling me what to do. I'm just in the moment. I'm making stuff, and all I'm doing is I'm going to make some music to have an opinion on later. I'm sending this out to my YouTube brothers. Cool. Money in music is so subjective. I've made thousands before, Napster, but I'm still producing more. So what I make per song is sad, yeah. It's dropped down, and that's why we've got to look for other revenues. Oh, there's Danny. Hi, Danny. How are you doing? It'll be the weekend soon. So, happy weekend when it happens on Friday. Glad I found this pretty cool. Excellent. It's a new era. We have to be creative. Yeah, because there will be opportunities there. Just we have to think differently. And, that's just as much of the creative process. It's the same muscles in your head that you're using as when you're writing music, And then you just find something you get into. I honestly never ever thought that I would be into anything like this, sitting in front of the camera, talking, not making music and doing it. But this is like, I'm just going with the flow. I had no plan for the day, and we're having this wonderful and very important discussion. Right, perplexity. I wouldn't know how to project my music even if I post it online. The copyright issues and any kind of lawsuits would be too stressful for me. Right, so so usually what happens, right? Nobody's going to come and like take all your houses off you and sue you, right? That's just that's not going to happen. There has to be money involved in it. All right, so don't worry about that. You can put stuff up. Like at the very worst, right, you would get a cease and desist. And if you got that, you wouldn't fight it, you just pull the thing down and disappear. That's it. Actually, I had a problem with my name, Hutch. So McRocklin Hutch was okay, and I released a track, and it was Hutch. And somebody, right, who I'll not mention, was also called Hutch, who was like a DJ guy. Funnily enough, it's a small world. He runs a label, and one of his singers sang on my track a while ago. But he was like, he said that, and it happened to be that he was called Hutch, and he had exactly the same like logo, which is just the Rage font. The one that I have from McRocklin Hutch on this channel. He had the Rage font. In fact, actually, that reminds me. We'll get the branding up. That font. So I got this WhatsApp. Who gave you permission to do this? If you don't change it, we'll have problems. That's what he put. We had problems. He was on WhatsApp. You know what I did? I got on the video call and I rang him, but he wouldn't pick his phone up. And I was like, well, what is the problem? And it actually ended up that I capitulated and I just went, you know what I'll do is he was like, well, because he sent me the legal documentation that he actually owned the trademark for Hutch, but actually only in the UK, believe it or not. So just to keep things separate, I just went, I'll tell you what, I'll leave it how it is for McRocklin Hutch, and I'll just put Tim Hutch in front of it, and then that was all sorted out. So there is reason, but in terms of your music, you can put it up there. If somebody's going to like claim against you, you've got two choices. You can either fight it, okay, in which case it might go away, or you can just take it down and then put another track up. But it's more important to try than just to speculate on what the worst possible outcomes are. It's interesting because as human beings, we do focus in on the downsides of things. But as an exercise, just free write on this, right? What are the worst things that could happen if I release my music? Then also, right, what are the best things that can happen? But all that thing of like people like suing you and stuff like that, there has to be money involved. I mean, they're not going to launch like a solicitor at you, right? Because they're going to have to pay for that when you've only got, it's not even like, even if you had 500,000 players on Spotify, they're not going to, it's just not worth it. You're only going to make like, I don't know, $1,000 or something like that off it at best. So they're not gonna fight for that, are they? Because they're not gonna win. The only people who are gonna win in all of this are the solicitors. So it's just bolstering, isn't it, and trying it on. So again, I wouldn't worry about it. But perplexity, what I would do is I would focus in on what would be the positive things to happen for you, your family, your friends, your fans. What would be the positive things that would happen if you were to release your music? I think we spend too much time thinking about, what's going to happen? I'm going to get sued. And it just wouldn't, I would quite happily put anything out. I mean, me and Thomas have Dreamstream, right? So Dreamstream, there's another, and we haven't got round to it, there's another 200 odd tracks to go up. So we released like in one go. It was like two. It was 401 tracks when I finished the whole batch, and it was all my splurges and all the tracks that were finished over a 2-year period. And we just decided to put them on DreamStream, okay, so other people could enjoy them. People could use them for background music because it's royalty free. People could play the guitars over them, and that's DreamStream. And I've never had any problem on any of that. So if you count DreamStream as like 260 odd tracks, right? I can't remember the exact number, but it's a lot. And then you think of like all of my dance music that I can remember is 122 tracks. And then if you think about McRocklin Hutch, which is another 25, 30 tracks, I've never ever had any problems, right? Like what we're talking about. Nobody's come and had a go at me, okay? It just hasn't happened. So please, 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 if you've got music out there, do release it, okay? Release it and don't worry about it. If the worst came to the worst, you could always take it down. And it's important for you to release music. It's important for all of us musicians to do that because it's an end point from which we can get data from. And I know this because I've done it so many times, and that's how I've grown as a musician. That's been one of the most pivotal things, is this constant finishing and going through the process and reviewing. Just order a laptop to record. I like it. I think the saddest thing about eventually going is that we will not have guitars or be able to bring our favourite ones of these things concern me. It doesn't concern me, NB. We're talking about death here. Eventually going, we will not have guitars or be able to bring our favourite ones. These things concern me. Well, potentially, but there might be something better on the other side to kind of do. So again, embrace uncertainty. And on that matter, very importantly, music is such a great teacher of other things in life. And I do talk about this as when we think about and I think psychology would call it like soft skills. When we think about music as the skill, right? And that's what we're doing. But think about all the other skill sets that are around that we need to be successful. We need to have an environment, so I've got to lead from the front here, haven't I? Being a coach. So I have an environment that serves what I'm doing. It's clean. There's not shit everywhere apart from the cup and a plectrum. I can justify more. I've got a timer here which I haven't ever used on the live because it's awkward and I'm going to change it back to the old one. I've got that which just is a reflection of the push here for a bit of entertainment for you guys in the detail. I've got my guitars, I've got my computer, I've got my mic, I've got my speakers, I've got my headphones, and that is it in the software that I'm using. Environment's important. Habits are really important. This stream is a habit. Now, because I do it every day in the working week, it's like really difficult for me not to do it because it's a habit. The way I set everything up is a habit. The way I go put the kettle on is a habit. Going up to the loo and back down the stairs, all of these are like habits that trigger the main habit of sitting here. So there's another skill we learn. We learn how to stack habits, moving from one thing that we do to the next thing we do almost unconsciously without friction. We learn this from practicing music. And we learn about decision making. We learn about insight and analysis and how to use that and the difference and how we can use those two different things as magical levers to solve not just musical problems, but any problem in life. And music and creativity is a method of operation which we can apply to different scenarios. So we mustn't ever underestimate the power of what we're doing as musicians when we're practicing instruments, in particular when we're writing music as well and when we're performing. We have, doing this off the top of my head, fear. Okay, so there will be a lot of fear and, things happening in the world where, I don't want to release my music because I'll get sued, all that kind of stuff. It's perfectly understandable. and it's because, again, it plays into the uncertainty, and as human beings, we want certainty, and releasing music, I know, is the same fear as the fear of death, okay? It triggers the same chemicals in your body, but there is nothing to fear. I have nothing ever bad has ever happened, and I have released hundreds of tracks, as I've told you, and it hasn't happened. So if you take me as a case example, please do, right? We learn about how to overcome boredom. Boredom's a really hard one because I get quite frequently bored of my playing, but I also get overwhelmed with the amount of things that I want to learn. Okay, so it can be quite frustrating, and that's a new kind of battle that I'm having at the minute, because my head's wanting to do more than what my body is physically able to do in the time that I have it. And I don't think time would actually solve those problems. So there has to be some way of managing that. And I think that's a good example of what a good problem would be. Okay? Bad problem is just, I don't know what I'm doing. The worst thing you can ever be in, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm bored and go to bed because nothing's going to happen. There's no activity, so there can't be a result. So there's no data. What else do we have? And then understanding your community. I mean, this is brilliant. I mean, I have such a lovely lot of people who come on here and the regulars and stuff, and I'm forever grateful. And it really, really keeps me going and gives true meaning to what I'm doing. And it also keeps me in tune with like the discussion we're having today about what the real issues people are having, and how I can help and respond to that, mainly as a coach. But I can always just play a guitar and just whatever. Let's just have some entertainment. Let's play a song and just forget it. I know the house is burning down, but I'll just let's have a tune. It'll be sorted. You can't own a font or a name. Yeah, well, I know that. But was I prepared to push back for the money and what it would cause? He wasn't particularly very big. And it would have, in that scenario, I think he would have done it, to be honest. He was quite aggressive. Unlimited upside versus limited downside. Brilliant. I think that is. Thank you for that. Unlimited upside versus limited downside. Yes, we can talk. That would be brilliant. Texas. Very excited. Totally see your point and agree. And we should all do that free write. We should all free write. What's the worst can happen? What's the best that can happen? How is it going to help my friends, family, and fans? That outweighs, I know for a fact, the downside. Because that thing of because of the technological revolution. Because I remember the fright of AI. So so I was getting coached from Mike, like coach training. So I've taken a bit of time out with him, but every week we would do coach training, and a lot of the training sessions were based upon, because you got to be dynamic with a coach. You got to be up on the times. You got to know. You got to have a bit of a head start on what issues are going to be around and what people are going to throw at you. And AI was a big no. What's going to happen? There's going to nothing. We're all doomed, right? And that's just not the case. Okay, because the way to think about this, we thought, right, well, we need to look at what is the one question to make it simple that we need to answer. Okay, and the question that we need to answer is, with AI, what will be left? And I've said it before, this is why I'm doubling down on the guitar playing. And I'm so grateful of that, because it's pushed me to do something that I was sitting on, that I knew I probably should do, as a, quite good on it. But my head was so much into like the fun aspect of like gear, and it pushed me into that. And I'm so grateful of it, because it's such an expressive instrument, and at the end of the day, it's a great way for me to just push out my emotions. So just on that level, it's a massive win, isn't it? And it's also, I'm doing something and it's super entertaining and it's real. People relate to that. People are always going to want to buy guitars, and instruments, because just to even sit in your house, as people have mentioned before, the therapeutic angle of that. Music is a metaphor. We can play one chord on a piano and make just one beautiful sound out of that we can like channel energy through, just as mindfulness, And I work as a therapeutic musician in a hospital, right? So I know the power. I've seen people get well through music, often, every week. It's incredibly powerful. So that's not going to go, but we do have to answer the question of what will be left. So you've got to answer that, what will be left, and then make your plan and go with it. All right. Sounds like we're getting ready for the apocalypse, doesn't it? But in a way, we are. The AI apocalypse, because it is coming to a certain degree. But on the positive, those of us who play instruments, who play from the heart, who play music with interest that is expressive, that people can connect with, our value will go up. It's guaranteed. Right. You tell me that there's a place where I can find all kinds of backing tracks to improvise that you can... Yes, I have. So it's Dreamstream. They're not all brilliant, but Dreamstream, yeah, a lot of them must actually be interesting. A lot of them are my splurges. So if you go on Spotify, and there are Dreamstream. Also, there's all of the McRocklin and Hutch tracks without the guitars on as well on Spotify as well for you to jam on. So there's all of everything there. There's hundreds of tracks. Lots of laughter. Lots of laughter. Yes, you're set up as a badass. Right. What do you use for a camera? Good question. Sony CZ10, I believe. So that's your standard, and then I have a Sigma lens, the zoom lens that goes down to 1.4. So if I'm here, it blurs the background and does all that clever stuff. And then it's the same. I have two. So like this camera, although the lighting's probably not quite as good, is that's also the same camera with the same lens. Okay. True that. Texas, I just got out of Austin, thank God. I spent 10 years in Austin on the 6th Street and then moved across to, is that LI-35 to 1st Street and had to leave. Depressing there now. I'll not go on holiday there. I've moved towards YT and it's been great so far, yeah. I really like it. I think it's the platform for me. Therapeutic musician at hospital, love it, Mr. Hutch. I knew you were a good man. Thank you. It's a super creative job. I get to do what I want. I can approach the problems that it throws me in any way, shape, or form with music. It's brilliant. One of my specialities is this, right? So, I have the same training as speech and language, and I specialize in uh, intensive interaction, which is non-verbal communication through music. So I'll have patients, and this happens probably, I would say, 2 days of my week, okay, and I'll have about 1, 2, 3, 4 patients at any one time, and I'm improvising and using music as a means of communication. So it's playing along with head movements, eye movements, body movements, non-verbal noises. So like some people make noises that are tonal to the bodies because it's a sensory thing and it feels really good. And then I'll like tune in with that, and then that'll become like a note, and then you play, and then they realize that that's like a reaction to what they're doing, and then they'll start changing that tone. You start kind of making music. And a lot of that happens with people with severe learning difficulties or autism. So if you think about it, they need like a huge, they need like a lot of support in life. And a lot of the times, the only time that they've really got control over what they're doing, and they are the boss of what they're doing, and they kind of get that, is when they're in my session. And then I'm responding to them and listening to them. So it's a wonderful thing. And it's like, I think that intensive interaction thing and using music to do that, to unlock that communication, is probably the most powerful thing I've ever experienced in music, you know. So it's quite, it's really good. Cool, thank you. I jammed those on here. I've been jamming to Pink Floyd type backings. Very good. I watched the interview actually with Dave Gilmour on Rick Beato. Very good. Lighting is good too, thank you. It's been a labour of love. Is that a darkness poster in the back? No, do you know what that is? That is a portrait of me that my missus did. Because basically, when you're a rock star like me, like, you know, Dave Grohl, he has a big picture of himself, doesn't he, in his studio? So she did a portrait of me on a windy day, and wearing nice clothes, wearing a suit jacket, a jumper, and a nice shirt. Probably how she wants me to look. There could be a message in there. And I'm somewhere very urban. There's a lot of concrete in the background. A lot of brutalist architecture going on. But there you go. If you're going to be a rock star, you have to have a portrait of yourself in your studio. So that's what that's about. It looks like Justin Hawkins. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's expressionism. It is meant to be me. It's just a coincidence. Cool job, man. Let me go. Let me get down here. Have you had any spinal? I've had loads. Loads of spinal tap moments. Just like, in fact, most of my career, probably. I spent I mean, me adjusting my hair and putting my headphones on every morning on here is probably a spinal tap moment. I spent over 30 years touring, now have a YT channel. The channel is like so important for new music. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Everyone, give this stream a thumbs up, yes, please, and do subscribe. Surgical abnormalization. That's amazing and kind of mind blowing. Aha. Aha. The portrait is awesome. Thank you. Yes, you need a big painting of you. Brilliant. That's been a great. Honestly, we've had such a great time. I should right. So the thing, right? I'm talking about procrastination. So MIDI and pedals and clarting on like that. Sometimes I just can't be asked to do, but I've done it because my bestie mate Thomas, he's released a plugin, hasn't he? Nunchuck, which is the it's the latest. I hope it works. It's the latest in rock and roll, isn't it? I need a tune. Not well. I need a tune as in making a tune, but I do need the tune. I think. Oh, a little sharp. It's always the G string, isn't it? Ooh. Out. Oh, look at that. Oh, trying to focus on tuning your guitar when you're so excited. Right, so. So that's my lead channel now. So that one's like not wide. This one's wide. But let's have a look here. I'll go for this view, and we'll get Nunchuck up. So, boom, check it out. But what I've been spending my time doing is I've got a couple of things on here. I've got a whammy pedal. That kind of thing gives you the Rage Against the Machine. But I've got a couple of buttons on the floor, and one of them drops the pitch down like 5 semitones, like to a 4th. That's it. And it sounds, when you get it going, like really, really cool. And then I've got another one that goes up. And then I've also got my reverb throw, which is on an expression pedal, which I think I should probably move to a button. So that's all just happening with Nunchuck. So I've just been slowly kind of getting my presets on there, which is very good. Right, drums. Let's get some drums up. And I'll find something. So I always use this. EXO. So I really love EXO drums by XLN Audio. Very good. I'll get the my stuff. Where is it? I keep getting drawn to anything that's vaporwave. Could try that. We'll go with that. Pull this tempo down. About 80, I think. Yeah. So that's like one of my favourite things. Drums. Okay. Okay. So the next thing, I'll just stop there a second because one thing, because I'm only going to partially live loop. One thing I find when I'm not particularly inspired to do something, right, to write music, and I've organised it. I've got a collection of just kind of backgroundy sort of drones, yeah. So we've got stuff like that. So I might just grab that. I'll not spend much time thinking about it. And I have a channel called Textures, and it has a high pass and a low pass filter, so I'm just cutting out a load of frequencies. And this will add a nice bit of glue in the background. See? So we'll run that as well. And we've got something to work with. So apparently this says it's in D minor, so I didn't key match this, so it may be wrong. All right. That's my jam. That's today's jam. I wasn't intending on doing more, but actually this discussion's been absolutely brilliant. I'll catch up on the chat. There was a sweet, always the G string. Haha. Yes, I missed the G string. Love Mr. B. Oh, Mr. B, gentleman rhymer. Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he? Been raising my boy last 10 on my own, no time for fatties. Ha. It's really late here in Texas. Got to hit the hay, so I appreciate Tim for this stream and all you in the chat. Brilliant. It's been excellent. So have a nice sleep there, Texas. Peace, bro. Later. Oh, by the way, let's get together and talk on the live streams. Great shit, bro. What a great musician you are. Let's get together and talk about the state of music these days. Yes, I think this is going to make a good little sort of like thing, isn't it? Yes, got some potential. How about a progression in Lydian? Would like to see how it's done. Brilliant. Right, we'll do. Remind me tomorrow. We'll do Lydian. There's a theme, right? Lydian theme tomorrow. So do subscribe. So unknown parts unknown. I'll give you one tip. So the Lydian, to make the Lydian, there's only one note difference between the Lydian and the major scale. I mean, obviously Lydian is contained within the major scale, but when you superimpose the two things together, the actual difference, and the only difference is that the Lydian gives you a sharpened fourth sound. So there's a bit of a discordant thing going. So, and we will do an experiment tomorrow on this. So we have, you know, a typical rock thing, C Lydian. You know, that could be a Lydian rock thing, but it's that sharpened fourth that's going to give you that sound. That's cool. Yes, needs a fast interlude breakdown like Black Hole. Nice. Ridiculous. Oh, very good. Yeah, Dockstar, Nebula, great stuff, man. Damn, I'm blown away. Very catchy. It's all of my writing, like pop and dance stuff, isn't it? The reason I do it. Your playing is so effortless, thank you. How do you feel about They Live? I don't know, I haven't heard them. Probably because I live under a rock. 10-4. Hey, once again, this stream is awesome. Thank you for the conversation and positive feedback, Mr. Dutch. Have a great day. Be well, everybody. Cool. And we're getting up to time. Cool. So yeah, do subscribe. Like if you're interested in coaching, there's 3 different ways I can help people here. Talking to the business side here is 1, coaching group. So that's like a really good option in a group of people making music. And Second one is one-to-one coaching sessions. So you can just have a Zoom call with me and we can have a chat. I tend to use Nancy Klein's thinking environment as a framework for the session. I find it very, very helpful, and it gets people clarity, and they end up then knowing what they're going to do next. And then finally, there are guitar lessons. So if people are very skill focused and just kind of get over the other stuff or whatever, or you just need to, you want to know what to do next on guitar, and there's things you want to know in more detail than I can do on here, and it's bespoke to your playing, your technique, and you want to get in the room with me, then that is also another thing. So there are 3 options there. There's Kevin. Dropping in before bed. Well, there we go. Right, Kevin, I'll tuck you in. I haven't got time to do. I haven't got time to do story time this evening, Kevin. Sorry to live the John Carpenter movie from the 80s. I love John Carpenter. I think he's brilliant. I really regret not seeing him when he played in Newcastle, though. Hutch is a brilliant coach. Yes, I do. I coach Kevin, and I've been meaning to interview him because he's done good as Kevin. There we go. So, all right, you can have his bedtime story. Okay, once upon a time there was Kevin, and he went off to explore a deep, dark forest. Right, are you asleep yet? All right then. That's I just think it helps, being a dad myself. It helps when you've got a small child. I remember doing the story time, and if you put just a tip, if you put your child in the story, more engaging for them. And then they'll over concentrate and they'll be asleep like that. Boomf. I'm interested in getting some coaching. Take care, Hutch. I'm Garrett. Brilliant. Yeah, so just send me an email. The email's in the chat, and that'll be great. And we can see what is happening. Absolutely captivating, but you're still awake, Kevin. Back to bed. I'll be back soon. See you tomorrow. See you all tomorrow. All right then. Thank you, everybody. It's been an absolute blast for something that was not planned, inspirational. Really enjoyed it, and I will see you all bright and early tomorrow. All right. See you then. Bye.